You know, every so often, a deal comes along in Hollywood that just completely rewrites the script. And Netflix, well, they just made one that has everybody's head spinning. We're talking about a secret technology, a mind-blowing price tag, and yeah, one of the biggest movie stars on the entire planet. This is the inside story of their massive $600 million AI bet.
So let's just start with that number, because you have to see it to believe it. $600 million. That is what Netflix just dropped, making this one of the biggest AI deals a studio has ever made.
But here's where it gets really crazy. This enormous bet, it's not on some big, established tech giant. Nope, it's for a tiny stealth startup. Just 16 employees that was operating so far under the radar that pretty much nobody in Hollywood or Silicon Valley even knew it existed.
And the founder of this secret little company? The guy who cashed that massive check? Academy Award winner Ben Affleck. Yep, you heard me right. This is the story of how Batman built an AI company that Netflix decided they absolutely had to own.
Okay, so what in the world did Netflix get for all that cash? Let's pop the hood and really break down the fine print of this blockbuster acquisition.
So the company is called InterPositive, and as part of the deal, that whole 16-person team is coming over to Netflix. Affleck himself is stepping into a senior advisor role, so he's going to help guide the whole thing. And this was a serious operation, backed by Redbird Capital, the same firm that helped him launch his production company. This was no side hobby. It was a major, well-funded venture that was just kept completely under wraps.
Now this next part is absolutely crucial to understand. The technology they bought is fundamentally different from the AIs you've been hearing about. You know, the Soras and Pikas of the world that create videos out of nothing. See, InterPositive doesn't generate anything. It enhances what's already been shot by a human crew. It trains only on a single film's own footage, not on the entire internet. So its job isn't to create fake people or replace actors. In fact, it's built so it literally cannot change an actor's performance. It's all about the craft of filmmaking. And in today's world, with all the legal and ethical messes around generative AI, focusing on enhancement, that's a much safer and frankly a much faster way to get real results.
So how does it actually work? Well, first, it basically watches all the raw footage from a movie. Then it starts analyzing the how, the specific camera lenses, the lighting choices, the way the camera moves. It essentially learns the unique visual language that the director created for that specific project. And once it understands those rules, it can go in and help with all the tedious post-production stuff, like digitally removing stunt wires or fixing a continuity mistake, stuff that saves a ton of time and money.
So this all brings up the big question, right? Why is an Oscar-winning director, a filmmaker, getting so deep into the weeds of building an AI company?
Well, Affleck said it himself. He said it came from a sense of responsibility. He saw these powerful generative AI models coming and felt that as a filmmaker, he had to help build a tool that serves creativity instead of replacing it. So this isn't some tech bro trying to disrupt Hollywood. It's a Hollywood insider trying to shape tech in a way that actually helps artists.
And if you look at his track record, this makes perfect sense. From starting his company Artists Equity to give creators a bigger piece of the pie, to signing on with the Creators Coalition for AI, Affleck has been really vocal about doing this stuff the right way. He's built this reputation as a really thoughtful voice in the AI debate, which honestly makes him the perfect person to be the face of this kind of tech.
But this deal isn't just about the cool tech or its famous founder. To really get why this is such a huge deal, you have to look at Netflix's bigger strategy. Because believe me, the timing here is everything.
What this really shows us is a massive pivot for Netflix. Just a week before they bought InterPositive, they walked away from a nearly $83 billion bid for Warner Bros. Discovery. I mean, just think about that for a second. Instead of spending a fortune to buy a huge library of old TV shows and movies, they spent a fraction of that on technology to help them make new stuff way more efficiently.
And this timeline just shows how incredibly fast it all happened. The Warner Bros. Deal dies, and within about a week, boom, Netflix announces this acquisition. It's a lightning-fast, decisive shift away from buying old-school media and towards owning the next generation of production tools.
So at the end of the day, this whole deal is about one thing: speed. Building this kind of tech from scratch and getting filmmakers to actually trust and use it would take years. By just buying InterPositive, Netflix basically just leapfrogged the competition, squeezing a 2 to 3 year development cycle into just a few months. And they're going to need that head start, because this move isn't happening in a bubble. It's a major shot fired in a much, much bigger conflict that's brewing all across the industry. The AI arms race is officially on. You've got Disney putting $1 billion into OpenAI, probably so people can make videos with Mickey Mouse and Marvel characters. Amazon is building its own tools in-house. Paramount is looking to automate their pipelines. So while everyone else is chasing that shiny object of AI that creates things, Netflix is making a very different bet, that the real, immediate win is in making the current way of making movies faster, better, and cheaper.
So what we're seeing here is a brand new chapter in the fight for Hollywood. The old streaming wars were all about who had the biggest library of content, but the new AI content wars, they're going to be about who owns the smartest tools.
But the tech is only half the story. You have to think about the people, and the unions are watching every single move. Just look at this. An incredible 97% of writers are already demanding much stronger protections against AI in their next contract.
And this sets up two totally different conversations. On one side, you have Wall Street looking at this deal and saying, okay, great, now show me the results, prove this is going to save you money. And on the other side, you have the union saying, hold on, show us the protections, prove this isn't going to cost our members their jobs. And trying to keep both of those groups happy, that's going to be Netflix's biggest challenge by far.
Ultimately, this whole $600 million bet leaves us with a massive question for the future of entertainment. Will tools like this actually empower a whole new generation of filmmakers and make it easier for more diverse voices to tell their stories? Or will they just become another way for the biggest studios to centralize even more power and control? The answer to that is probably going to define the next chapter of Hollywood.